What does it cost a person to keep choosing peace in a world that keeps asking them to absorb violence? Welcome to The Real Room. I'm Lacretia Mitchell, your host, and today we are holding a space for a leader who has chosen peace not as a concept, but as a lifelong commitment. I'm joined by Lynn Jackson, CEO of Peace City, Oklahoma, a community-based nonprofit working to reduce gun violence through community violence intervention and healing. Lynn brings decades of experience across criminal justice reform, community outreach, and substance abuse recovery, having served in leadership roles throughout Oklahoma's justice ecosystem, from the Department of Corrections to nonprofit and civic institutions shaping policy and practice. Her leadership has been recognized across the state, but what defines Lynn most is how she leads with the conviction, compassion, and courage. She is a mother of 7, a woman of faith, and a servant leader who continues to show up for communities impacted by gun violence, incarceration, and trauma. Lynn's life philosophy says it best. If everything leaves my life, there are 3 things that will remain: God, gratitude, and joy. Let's get into it. Welcome, Lynn. How are you?
I am doing wonderful today.
Good. I'm so grateful that you're here. I can't wait to dive into how we know each other, all the things. But first, I'm gonna ask a this or that.
Okay.
Just a little icebreaker so you can get a little comfortable.
Okay.
So this or that, you pick a preference, which one you prefer.
Okay.
Okay. Dressed up or tomboy style?
I would say dressed up.
Dressed up.
Mhm.
Okay.
Dressed up because it's dressed up all week, and then it's tomboy style mostly every Saturday if I'm not working.
Got you.
I mean, you might see, if you catch me in public, basketball game, somewhere, you probably gonna get tomboy.
Okay.
But outside of that, it's dressed up.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, you looking amazing today, honey.
Thank you.
This whole suit, I'm here
So
for it.
do you. Always,
Thank
all
you.
the time.
Thank you.
All the time.
I just appreciate you for saying yes. I know this is not something that you just are excited to always do, but listen, I'm very appreciative of you being here. Let me give a little bit of context of how
Okay.
we know each other.
Okay.
So we go back to Southeast days. I
Mhm.
was a freshman coming into Southeast. You was a
Yes.
senior.
Yes.
And you intimidated the heck out of me. But I will say this. Let me say, y'all, she was like hard. But I respected just you and your game. Like, we played
Yeah.
basketball together.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't play. You went and gave it your all. So
That was pretty serious.
yeah,
That
but we had
defense.
some, that defense was it, baby. We had some amazing times though. And you and just, I think about Takoya and all, like, y'all made the
Yes.
experience amazing.
Eliana, Renata.
Man.
Yes, I remember, man, we was a squad.
We was a
We was
squad.
Rana.
Yes.
We was squad. We was got Lupe.
Oh my goodness, you remembering everybody.
I remember even the 6 man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I
was
remember.
crazy. I loved that time, and it really shaped me just to see like how y'all brought us in as freshmen. Y'all could have been way like hard, but y'all was like, no, come on, we cool. But you still, just your presence. It was like, oh, I'm a little scared of.
Yeah. And I get that. I get that a lot too. You know, yes.
Okay, well, let's get into it. Okay, you are doing some amazing things across the city, CEO of Peace City, Oklahoma. And so I want to dive into that. Take me back to the moment or the season and when you thought Peace City stopped being an idea and became a calling.
I would say coming into it, into the organization, at first it was just an organization in the community that I know needed organizational help, operational help. And so I thought, I would be able to help this organization in my free time.
Yeah.
maybe it's not something I want to just dive into, but I would definitely help them for free
Mhm.
with the operational aspects of the organization so that it can stabilize and grow. And from that point, and then I became a founding board member of the organization. And from that point,
Yeah.
uh, I got offered a position to go ahead and actually come in and do those operational things that needed to be
Mhm.
done, and to also help with the culture at that time of the
Yeah.
organization. And it was not an immediate yes,
Yeah.
but it was the simple fact of I had never worked at home before.
Mhm.
I had never worked at home. My environment was downtown. My environment was the greater, the Chamber of Commerce,
Right.
jails, prisons, county courthouse. That was my domain.
Mhm.
And I had just never got to work around my family. My brother has a community center around the corner. My mama's church is down the street.
Yeah.
My family's houses is all behind the building and down the street. And my grandma and my auntie, I mean, I can literally get to everybody in 2 minutes,
Yeah.
3 minutes max. And I had never got that before.
Mhm.
And I never got to work in my community at the level that I was functioning.
Mhm.
And I never questioned why, until I really started working in my community.
Mhm.
And I see how that just never happened coming back. So that was part of my deciding factor. And the fact that this was a predominantly Black job, basically an all African American male
Mhm.
Black job.
Mhm.
And I thought about the situations of how I have helped other organizations that, barely had any Black people. I mean,
Mhm.
sometimes I was the only one. And so that pulled on my heart as well. So it's like being home, being close to my family, and then helping this demographic of men outside of the system.
Right.
I've worked with African American men, but it's always in the
In the
jails, in the
system.
prison, through
Mhm.
the court system, you see.
Mhm.
And so this was different. And I was like, this is my people. This is home. I'm gonna try it. And I convinced myself like, this how I'm going out.
Yeah.
Okay, God, I finally get
Found
to
it. Yeah.
relax. I found it. I'm gonna retire when I'm 55 and this is gonna be great.
Yeah.
Black job, this is gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
And so, I say yes and I hop right on in there.
Yeah. So when you say I want to hit on a few things. I have a question. When you say Black job, for those that don't understand what that means, when you say it, what are you meaning?
It means that the job is predominantly Black
Mm.
instead of being predominantly white.
Mm.
This is the first job where I'm not a statistic by race. I'm
Mm.
still a statistic by gender,
Mm.
but this is the first time in my working career that I am not a statistic by race.
Right.
Our job is all African American except for one individual.
Mhm.
And I've never experienced that before.
Yeah. What would you say that does for you, far as it's a different feel when you walk into a space and you're not the only one,
hmm
right? What
hmm
is that feeling like for you?
Comfortability.
Mm.
I've always ran a strict program.
Mhm.
I conduct myself in a certain manner in professional environments, just as a leader. And what I can say, and I would call myself, not an expert, but pretty close
Mhm.
in what I do. And I will say that working at an Black job or all Black job where I am not the statistic, the level of comfort challenge where what I thought I had mastered.
Mhm.
Because it's easy to master in an environment that you are not familiar in, where you have to operate by a particular structure or code of systems.
Mhm.
So when you go home, you got to remember this is home.
Yeah.
So now you're having to walk that fine line when you are comfortable.
Mhm.
And that was the
Yeah.
challenge. And that was the challenge because it comes natural.
Right.
And so, because it's just like me, I have 5 brothers.
Mm.
So, being around men is not an uncomfortable thing for me. I have 2 fathers, my biological father, and then my stepfather. One's daddy, one's father, right?
Mm.
One who had me, one who raised me, and loved them both
Yeah.
tremendously. And so, what happened is when I got in that environment, I got comfortable. And, I could just tell by sometimes how the way I would act, I would never act that way. Just like the jokes you would tell,
Mhm.
how you would laugh, how you would talk over food, how you're interacting and,
Yeah.
all of those things. It's almost like liberation.
Mm.
It's like a
Mm.
liberation,
Yeah.
and that freedom.
To be yourself.
Exactly. And so I had to find that balance
Yeah.
working at home because it was that liberation of being able to be.
Hmm.
And I didn't realize that for years. I mean, I've been working within my sector for now, my gosh, I'm getting so seasoned for many, I could say several years, at minimum 14, let's just say
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
And this was the first organization where I was able to be.
Yeah.
And so I had to find that
Mm.
that balance there.
I think for anybody out there that may not understand what that's like for a person of color, right? It's like, oh, y'all keep talking about this or whatever the case may be. The thing is, every day
Mm-hmm.
we are having to conform to certain things, certain
Yes.
disciplines, certain systems, right?
Yes.
And there's nothing necessarily wrong with
Right.
that in a sense
Right.
when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
working within a structure or a business.
Right.
But when you are the only one,
Mm-hmm.
to go to now being, the majority, it's a different feeling. For other people, they
Yes.
may not understand that because that's
Mm-hmm.
their norm. They get to be able to walk
Right.
in
You got
and
it.
not have these certain
Mm-hmm.
biases or certain perceptions already, people perceiving you a certain
Yeah.
way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to say to anyone out there that's like, why do you keep talking about this? Why, is this a topic? It's for somebody as a Black woman, right?
Yes.
To be able to just be and not have certain judgments or
Mm-hmm.
people saying, well, why is your hair like that? Why is this? Right?
Yes. Yes.
Like not to
Yes.
have to go to work and explain that.
Yes.
There's a freedom in that for us,
Yes, it
right?
is.
And
Yes, it
so
is.
I love that you spoke on that
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's so important for people to be open-minded to other people's
Mm-hmm.
experience and understand that we all have a level of different, different experiences.
Yes.
And this is ours.
And even as minute as hair, I hadn't wore braids in so long.
Mhm.
When I got to the organization, I think I wore braids for 2 braid sessions
Yeah.
straight. And you know how long we wear braids. So I think I just rocked braids for 4 months straight. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, down to the mid, down below my back. Like
Yeah.
I was just braiding it up,
Yeah.
not realizing that I had not done that because of the environments
Yeah.
that I had worked in. Being free,
Mhm.
my tone, my poise,
Mhm.
always having to be extra careful about how I'm talking when I'm
Mhm.
talking, my dictation, the
Mhm.
vocabulary that I'm using,
Mhm.
having to always be extra
Mhm.
kind and more soft than anyone else in the room so that I'm not looked at as assertive or
Yeah.
aggressive, sending emails, having to send those emails. And if I don't put enough cheer
Mhm.
in it and very it's just like everything you have to double check, reassure, read it over 2 or 3 times to ensure that it's not
Offensive.
offensive.
Mhm.
You have to make sure you're not too loud, and so I had kind of learned that code.
Yeah.
And then coming into this organization, it was like it took a minute. It took time for it to kind of balance out, because I would get too comfortable,
Mhm.
and I might say, "Hey,"
Yeah.
and then I'm like, "Oh my goodness, what am I doing?" "Hello everyone, thanks for coming in today. Come in, have your seats." Little bitty things that I
Mhm.
just would notice, um, uh, having a irrational fear
Mhm.
of things,
Yeah.
of just a over tight ship,
Mhm.
everything being perfect,
Yeah.
from every piece of organizational structure,
Mhm.
financials, policy,
Mhm.
procedure, from feeling like that I had to do everything
Right.
perfect,
Mhm.
while doing my best not to go from pet to threat in another
Mhm.
environment.
Mm.
Where in this environment, not only do I not have to overperform,
Mm.
but I also don't have to worry about becoming a threat to my own people, because when they see me, it is very normal, just like how it is when I see
Yeah.
them.
And that's the thing I want to make sure that we're clear on. It's not that we're minimalizing ourselves. It's not that
Right,
we're dumbing ourselves down
right,
when we're around people that understand
right,
us or relate to us. You
right.
still, I'm sure, go over and beyond and do
Yeah.
your best
Mm-hmm.
job, but it's just certain things that we have to pay attention to, that we
Right.
have to do in certain environments. I'm gonna say code switch, right?
Yes. Yes.
We have to switch up in certain environments because some people may not understand or be able to relate to
Correct.
our culture,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so I'm glad that you hit on
Mm-hmm.
that. So I'm gonna move on. So tell me, because I want you to pop your collar real quick.
Okay.
Degrees. Tell me just about the past history, your college experience, and just your past work history that has prepared you for Peace City.
Starting out, just straight from college, I went to Connor State College first. I was
Mhm.
so happy, Coach Thompson got me that
Yes.
scholarship to Connors. And, I went to college and everything, and, I got pregnant. And so I had to come home from college. And, at that time, I really didn't know what direction to go.
Mm,
But I had something inside of me, you know, um, that I just hadn't tapped into yet, that people had identified on me.
mhm,
And that was the ability and the capacity to step into an environment and bring structure to that environment.
hmm,
And that could be from being with my brothers at the house.
mhm.
I've always been a contract lady. I mean, I was writing my mama contracts when I was in middle school for stuff,
Wow.
shoes, stuff. If you get these shoes for me, I will do this extra chores for this amount of money for an
Come
extra
on.
$30. I'll have it paid back in 4 months. I would write the contract out, and that could have been something that she put inside me, because I
Mhm,
also had to write essays when I did things wrong.
mhm.
And I would have to write an essay to say why that was wrong. And she
Yeah.
would edit my essay. And I didn't enjoy doing those things. So that was pretty difficult. My mother then, watching my mom, we started from McDonald's, and my mom worked at McDonald's right off of MLK,
Mhm,
right across from the
mhm.
casino. And she then got a second job at Sam's right there in Midwest City.
Okay. Mhm,
And for many, many years, I watched her do that, and she volunteered into the prison.
mhm,
And when she volunteered into the prison, that wasn't too bad. I mean, she was going after church on Sundays,
mhm.
and then sometimes like throughout the month, but it wasn't nothing crazy, just going in there, having prayer, doing what the church ladies do. Well, then she had this great idea that she was going to launch this program right here. So that it wasn't very far from where we
Mm,
live, right on the other side of 8th Street. And it was these houses, and she was going to refurbish these houses, and she was going to have these transitional homes for women. And at the time, me and my brothers, we're not thinking it was no big deal,
yeah.
Um, and, she would, starting that out, for one, I didn't know that we were going to be a part of the refurbishing and the rebuilding
Process,
and the
yeah.
remodeling. Okay, we was forced with that.
Forced signed up.
I think she might have took our beds. Our beds were the first beds in our first house.
Mm,
Our shoes, different stuff. And I mean, we would be upset about
yeah.
that, and she would do that because she know that she would get us more. She would just replace our stuff. But we was having a fit. And so I was alongside that journey with my mom and walking with her. And then as she navigated fully into the Department of Corrections, boom.
Hmm.
Okay. So that's really where it started from.
Yeah.
I thought I was G.I. Jane, I wanted to pack a gun, I like doing takedowns. I used to so, naturally, because my mom was in DOC, I was like, okay, I'm going to be an officer, because also one of my mentors, her daughter, which I call my sister, shout out Yvonne Washington, she
Yeah.
was a police officer.
Okay.
And I just thought she had it going on. And I
Yeah.
thought that I can do that. And so I found my way into that and started out with Department of Corrections, went through academy, did all the
Wow.
things back when academy, see, they soften academy up. You go 8 to 5, then you get to go home. You have to remember I was a mother too, as a young mother. I had 3 kids by the time I was 21.
Wow. Yeah.
So I had to go in Wilburton and live in Wilburton for 3 months.
Mm.
And we got to come home on Thursday, be back on Sunday.
Wow.
Right. So, I went through that and started my journey out in Department of Corrections. And
Okay.
that just kind of led me along a natural pathway for me, which was policy and procedure, structure.
Yeah.
I never had a problem working in any of the prisons that I had to work in, prisons that I got sent to temporarily to work in, halfway houses. I never had one infraction of fraternizing with any inmates, anything. I think out of the whole time I might have held one takedown because one thing my mom told me starting out my career going in this way, in which I thought I was going to be a lawyer, with the ultimate goal of being a judge. Because from working in a system, I thought that was the only way that I would truly be able to help people. Like, I'm going to have to be a judge.
Yeah.
Like, it's no other way. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go to law school. And but my mom said, before you make connections and before you make friends, you need to lay your foundation.
Yeah.
And in order to lay that foundation, number one, you need to read those policies and procedures, and you need to know them because they do. Don't worry about if somebody like you or not. Don't worry. That will come on its own in time. That is the best advice that I got at the beginning as I started walking through those doors of my career and taking those steps. And from that point, it's like I just bloomed. I mean, I
Yeah.
just shot into it, and and it was learning. It was learning experiences, and God took His time with me. And it was one step after the next. School, I was doing school. I was one of those moms, that would bring my kids to school. I was one of those mamas, the irritating one that come running in the classroom 2 minutes, either right when the class started, and then you got your kid in your bag, and then you got their tablets, and you put them under the desk, and everybody's looking at you kind of like, really,
Yeah.
and working too. I mean, it was difficult because a cleat license can only take you so far, and then you start to feel like, okay, well, I got to get this so I can get in the door, and then after a while, sometimes being in those environments, that's not good enough. So okay, now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna grab my master's so I can get at this table, or I'm gonna get my law degree so that I can get at this table so that I can be able to help and feel effective. Because what started happening is I kept running into barriers. I kept running into barriers where it was injustice.
Yeah.
And I felt like I couldn't do anything. The policy wasn't working.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm going to have to take it higher.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy to what I thought was going to be what shifted me and what moved the bar. And it absolutely was not. God was going to do what He was going to do.
Period.
In either
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And so once God truly showed me, I switched the whole thing from law school.
Mhm.
I just got my master's in organizational leadership, really dove in on policy, um, got on some boards at the county, got to working with the Criminal Justice Advisory Council, which shifted me into politics,
Mhm.
learned the whole entire culture, and ended up sitting on a board that made decisions
Hmm.
to help those that I thought that I had to get a law degree
Hmm.
and become a judge to
To
help.
help.
And that was my true introduction to systems.
Come on.
And I realized I didn't have to go and rack up this high bill, even though I do pay a hefty student loan payment right now. But it would have been even higher if I went to law school. You don't have to do that. Um, it does depend on the tables that you're sitting on, these
Most
these
definitely.
boards and different things like that. These things are volunteer, and sometimes when you work in these careers, you'll get shifted on this board, you'll get shifted on that board, and these are the very boards that are making decisions
Hmm.
that are shifting our county, our city, and our state. And I would have never been aware of those tables,
Mhm.
of those boards, of those councils, had I not been, working in the job that I was. It was never the degree.
Yeah.
It was never the degree.
Come on.
And let me tell you something. I was going up against, voting against women that had art degrees
Hmm. Hmm.
over policy and
Right.
decisions that happen in our city, our county, and
Yeah.
our state.
Hmm.
So I'm not going against education. But what I am saying is that there are other ways,
Mhm.
and if you're willing to start at an entry level and you're willing to go in and learn, um, those things will come available to you. And when it
Mhm.
does, get there, because those are the things that are shifting our economy.
Yeah. Whew. Listen, you unpacked a whole lot right there. And so I'm gonna
Yes.
try to touch on all the things you unpacked. So here comes some questions. So one of the things that I think a lot of us think we have to do, we have to go to school and we have to get this education in order to, and you just said that wasn't the case, right?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And so you just proved that if you put forth the effort and
Yes.
start moving in the direction in which
Yes.
you feel you're supposed to be going in, the things that
Mm-hmm.
you desire, the things
Mm-hmm.
that you want to
You got it.
do, then doors can open,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so speak to the person out there that's like, I'm torn, like people are telling me I got to get this type of degree or I got to get that type of degree. I'm a strong believer in everybody is not meant to go to college,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so speak on the power of just knocking on those doors and pushing even when the obstacles try to stop you.
What I will absolutely say is find you a mentor.
Hmm.
Set the pride down. Set the pride down. Whatever you're passionate about, if it's education, if it's criminal justice reform, if it's social work, if it's therapy, whatever it is, set your pride down
Hmm.
and go to those people and ask them, are
Yeah.
you accepting mentors right now? Follow their pages, see what they're doing, see where they're going, because it's really about being in the room. Don't be afraid to
Hmm.
go in the room.
Knock on that
Don't
door.
be afraid to go in the room. It's not about your education, it is about your presence. And you
Hmm.
have to understand that in these rooms where decisions are being made, if it says it's free, open to the public, get in there,
Yeah.
because it's about visibility and it's about presence. You can't affect nothing if you ain't there.
Hmm.
I don't care what degree you got.
Come on.
I don't care what degree you got. So if you don't know where to go, if you don't know how to tap in, if you want to do criminal justice reform, if you want to be helpful with our court system, well, look up the Oklahoma County page on YouTube.
Come on.
You'll start seeing all of these meetings, and so a lot of they'll say open to the public.
Hmm.
If you want to be in the municipalities, get down there, get on the city site. Oh, well, when is the city council meeting? Oh, is it open to the public? Start familiarizing yourself with that environment. Take the limits off of
Hmm.
yourself. Take the limits off yourself. I don't even care. I don't care if you're a high school dropout.
Yeah.
Take the limits off
Come
yourself
on.
and get in the room. Because the unique thing about minorities is that sometimes the very thing that disqualifies you is the very thing that's going to qualify you. So while you're thinking you don't meet the criteria because you don't have the education, you don't have the look, you don't have the vocabulary, there's somebody in that room that's waiting for your story.
Come on.
That needs your story to create and build and start something.
Yes.
And this is what happens. And so people miss out on it because they're ashamed. They're ashamed of their story. They don't feel qualified to be in the room. They feel uncomfortable being in spaces where, they're the only one. I want to encourage you, get in there. Use the internet. Use AI. I am a champion of AI. I believe that all should get some kind of training in AI, whether you like it or not, because that's where we're going. Don't worry about being the smartest person in the room. That is of the old. Okay, out with the old and we in with the new.
Yeah.
We're moving forward, and so take those limitations off. Whatever it is, research it, find it out, and go in that room. If it's open to the public, get in that room. If you want to be a superintendent, why are you not at the meetings?
Yeah.
Why are you not at the board meetings? If you want things to shift in the school system, why are you not there?
Yeah.
If you want things to shift at the jail, why are you not at the open meetings? If you want things to shift in the system within our county court, why are you not there? It's open to the public.
Yeah.
If you want to be legislative and you're tired of policy and you're tired of things not going right, why are you not at the Capitol for every open session that is open to the public? And all it takes, you don't got to read no more. You can use your device. Look it up and get in that room.
What she said is there is no reason to have any excuses.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly. Get your tail in that room. You cannot do anything if you're not there. Visibility and presence, and even visibility and presence is extremely important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. Listen, y'all, I just felt chills all through that whole conversation. Y'all, we just threw the second question.
Right,
okay, by the way.
right. Because Lacretia don't know I talk.
No, I do know. I do know.
Yeah.
Listen, okay, so then there was something else that you said. You talked about how you were going to college, you bring in your kids. For someone that had a child at 20 years old and then got into college, like there was no excuse for me to stop. Like now I'm going to do what I need to do to make a better life for her, right? Talk on somebody that's out there that life has happened, they may have a kid. Hearing your story just now, that wasn't an excuse for you. I'm taking the baby to the school.
Yeah.
I'm like, speak on that for us.
This is what I would say. Growing up in church, growing up more in a conservative Christian environment is how I was raised. And, a lot of shame came with that. Feeling like a failure, a lot of rejection. Especially not being married.
Yeah.
Okay, especially being a baby mama.
Yeah.
So I was ashamed. I felt that I had embarrassed my mother. My mother worked with women, and she would help them turn their life around. And sometimes people would use me against her, like, you can't tell me what to do. You can't even control your own daughter.
Wow.
And so that would make me pull back. And just all of the scrutiny of just feeling like a complete mess up and like you don't fit in anymore, and I had to navigate through that. My mother and my grandmother, they ain't take nothing up off of me. It was like, can you watch the kids? No, I can't watch the kids. Well, I've got to go to school. Well, you better figure it out. You better take them. Well, and I'm going to just miss school. Then forget it. I just won't go. Well, that's your life. That's your future. Honey, if I were you, I would get those kids and I would go to that class, and I would just feel like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I felt like life was just so unfair and it'll make you feel like an outcast. But I'm trying to tell you, there is nothing that you cannot do when you have kids. Do not be ashamed of it. You are not a cast out. You are not less than.
Yeah.
Um, just because you have children and you have children out of wedlock, just because you are a woman and you are not married, you need to know that God still loves you.
And he does.
You're still called by God.
Most
God
definitely.
gives and God takes away. And there's not a mistake that you can make on this earth where a human can take away what God put in you and the purpose that he set forth in your life. There's not a kid, there's not a dog, there's not a mistake, there's not a crime that you can commit that a human can come and take away the gift that God gave and the purpose that God gave. And you have to remember that. So when you have your children and you walk into those environments, you hold your head up high. You go and you sit down. You're in church, sit on the second row. Wave your hand, and when you say amen, say it loud. You know, take your kids to the daycare and to the different resources and know that you are enough. And I would tell you that having kids young is also a skill set because it sets you above because you learn things as a parent opposed to a person that doesn't have children. It's so funny right now, just something just really simple. You know, one of my colleagues, you know, sometimes when we have meetings and stuff, and he'll say, "Oh, you know, where you at?" You know, or something like that, and I just laugh, and you know, I'll say a joke, "Oh man, I just left the house," you know, but I'm just joking all the while I'm already there,
Yeah.
you know, and he's like, "Well, okay, I'm da 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 da," and every now and again, I remind him, remember, I'm a mother first, right? And so a mother, what does a mother have to do? A mother has to get her children ready. A mother has to drop her kids off. This is before she even gets to work. A mother got to do her hair. A mother got to do her makeup. A mother has to do all those different types of things, and then she comes to work.
Right.
So whenever you calling about me and where I'm at and clocking my time, remember, I'm a mother first of multiple children. And so it's certain things that you learn in motherhood, and that's just a tiny small example of one of them. So it's like you don't want to take all that out the equation. You mean to tell me I can just get ready and go straight to work? I don't have to get no kids ready. I ain't got to drop no kids off.
Right.
I don't got to schedule this. I got to leave my job. I got to go do this.
Take
and then
a doctor
I got to come
appointment.
back. Then I got to go this one, got practice, and I got to, and then I got to come back, and I still have to deliver. You still have to deliver as the same as everybody else. So if you think that going through that process does not set you above the rest, you're crazy. So it actually balances out that not only are you not enough, you end up being more than.
Come on. Ooh. Y'all need to be in the studio right now. Just goodness gracious. She's preaching. Okay, that's what we call preaching.
Oh my God.
Listen, it's coming out. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh,
So yes,
Lord.
most definitely to all our single mothers out there, there's also
Yes.
single fathers, single
Yes.
parents, grandparents. Shout out to y'all for doing the work. But do not allow anything to give you an excuse not to be your full self, because you are more than enough in the space that you're in, for sure.
Right.
Okay, moving on. What keeps you rooted in the work on the days when it feels heavy, complicated, or thankless?
You know, this is really easy. I can't believe I'm bringing up my mama this much. Oh, she's just going to think it's too funny. But, you know, I used to get in trouble a lot when I was little. And my mama had me to remember this most scripture that I literally thought it was the most stupidest scripture. Like, I was so irritated that she wanted me to remember that scripture. And it was so uninteresting to me as a child. It was hard to memorize. You know, when something is just not interesting, it was hard for me to memorize. And it's Psalms 1 and 3.
Okay.
And it's the scripture about being planted like a tree by the rivers of water, that you shall bring forth fruit in your season. Your leaf shall not wither, and you shall prosper. That scripture, that in this day and time, as a child, I had no idea what that scripture meant. But let me tell you something. When I didn't know nothing else, and I was in trouble, I would quote that Psalms 1 and 3 scripture. Sometimes still not understanding it, but that was all that I knew because I remembered it as a child. It's like learning your ABCs. And so right now, even within my career, within my life, you have to understand that I'm anchored. You know, my roots are in good soil. I am anchored into the ground. I know where my source come from. My source is not from a connection. My source is not from an organization. My source is not likes on the internet. My source is not someone that referred me to a job or told me about a job.
Yeah.
The source is within me. My source is God. And so therefore, when God is your source, you become unwavering.
Yeah.
You become unmovable. So that means that you don't wither by day. I mean, the winds may rock you, but I ain't going nowhere.
Right.
And so I use that also for my emotional stability. When chaos is taking place, when it's a rough day at work, when it's a sad day at work, I remember what I'm rooted in, and I remember my source. I remember that everything that God does is intentional, and every single day, every moment, and every second. So everything that is happening, He knew that it was going to happen. It's happening for a reason. And so I often like to impress God, to show Him that my capacity is large. And so it's all in how I respond and how I handle situations, that I am trying to impress Him because He is my source. So I know that He is the giver of the assignment. It's really not nothing that's coming through the door. It's really not nothing that's coming to my ears. It's really not nothing that I'm reading, that He is the author of it all. So it's an assignment. So now I am serving in a capacity to please Him. And when you're serving in a capacity to please Him,
nothing else matters.
Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. And it will have you doing things that you said that you would never do. It will have you loving the unlovable. It will have you forgiving what doesn't need to be forgave. It will have you showing up and standing when nobody's showing up. It will have you locking in with people that they said was hopeless. God will put you on an assignment of something that looks impossible, literally looks impossible, and will make it possible. And you're going, God, oh my goodness, you know, every single thing is intentional. That's how I treat every single day. And every time that I am obedient to Him and to His voice and to the discerning that comes upon me, every time that I am obedient, that is a win with Him.
Come on.
That is a win with Him. And He is the one that enlarges the capacity of it all, of your call, of your economical finances, of your leadership. You don't want to get me started there.
Listen, she started, okay? She started. No. I cannot, like, I'm sitting here, so I got to pause real quick because I'm sitting here about to start crying.
You better not.
Because
Cry.
I'm just like, Lynn.
Yeah. Yes.
Southeast to Lynn.
Yes.
Like, I am freaking proud of you. Like, just hearing you, not for what you doing.
I got you.
Not your titles, not none of that, not what you done did, but the woman right now that's sitting in front of me, I am freaking proud to say that I know you. Like, girl, okay, let me go because I'm gonna start.
God is good.
Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
Good.
Okay, Peace City focuses on community violence intervention using trusted messengers to disrupt cycles of violence. What does that look like in real life, not theory, but just the actual practice, the day-to-day?
Yeah, in real life, that looks like people from the community. This is serious. I feel like y'all need to understand this when it comes to intervention, prevention. It has to be the community, because the thing is, you're dealing with a targeted audience. And that targeted audience has such a lack of trust because of all the systematic failures that has happened to that audience, to that demographic. So what happens is that you have to take people from within the community who are trusted within the community, and then you train them and they go back out and they serve the community. And the community responds because they trust that individual. That is how that works. Very similar to a PRSS worker. I'm trying to tell you, these are the most impactful people in social work.
What is that? Break that down. PRSS worker.
PRSS worker is someone, maybe let's say if they were suffering from addiction, and they were in recovery. They made it through their program, all these different things, peer
I put you on the spot.
recovery support specialist.
Okay.
Okay, I
Yeah,
gotta get
I
it
put you
right.
on the spot.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes, yes. No, no, no. I gotta get it right. I gotta get it right. And basically, what they do is they go through a training by the state. They get that certification, and then they go out and now they help people
Okay.
that is struggling with addiction.
Okay.
And the reason why that is important, see, because you have to understand, someone that is completely detached.
Mhm.
Let me use an example that I'm familiar
Mhm.
with. A mother with no children
Mhm.
coming to give me advice with my 7.
Mhm. Mhm. A little hard.
How does that work?
Yeah. Yeah.
How does that work? A woman with no children coming and steering me
Mhm.
with my 7.
Mhm.
Now, it doesn't mean that she don't have nothing you can learn from anybody.
Yeah.
But am I going to really open up to her
Right.
and talk to her about the struggles? No, because naturally, I'm going to think that she doesn't understand.
Right.
I'm automatically going to think that she doesn't get it, even if the solutions are spot on,
Yeah.
even if the criticism is spot on. In my mind and in my heart, I'm going to think, you don't get it. You don't know what it's like.
And that's not saying that woman may
Yeah.
not be right on,
Yeah, right. Spot
spot
on.
on.
Spot on.
But for you, you're
Right.
not going to be able to receive that
Right.
from her because you ain't been through what
Exactly.
right? You don't
Exactly.
have to go through what I go through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
Understandable.
oppose when you see someone, let's say now I see another woman
Mhm.
and, and this woman has her kids and stuff. And, she's like, oh, hey, can I talk to you for a minute on the side? Hey, I wanted to tell you, if you did this, this, and this, and this, and you're like, oh, okay. Or if they say, I really understand, and you'll watch that mother open up, I'm tired. Like I'm doing this. I'm taking him over there. I've been going to this behavior. He's been showing out in school. I got this. He's tearing up the house. He all of a sudden, it's just like a vomit. That's why it takes the community to shift the community. And what does that look like? Well, that looks like that people that's not from the community can't delegate the gatekeepers, can't delegate the leaders. They cannot delegate who can do what. It's the community.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times with these kind of organizations, especially with our peacemakers, they're able to show up on a scene, and where you get somebody that's not talking, when they see them, it's like, man, they tripping out here. They tripping, automatically. Now, are they going to do that with somebody they don't even know? Someone that they're not even familiar with?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't feel safe.
Yeah.
They don't feel safe to say it. And then there's no trust due to the systematic things in our economy. So I think that is one thing that I would like to see begin to shift more and more and more, is community shifting community.
Yeah.
But in order to do that, we have to value our community. We have to stop looking down on them. See, everybody wants to help.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody wants to serve the community. Everybody wants to be the charity to the community.
Yeah.
Everybody. But then when it comes to the community working alongside you, where does all that energy go?
Yeah.
So what does that tell me? That you want to help our community, but you don't value our community. You want to help our community, but you think that our community is unqualified. You want to help our community, but you don't think our community is qualified to lead the community. And for me, that's a problem, because it is proven through evidence-based that it is the community within communities all over that shifts a community. It has to come from within.
Yeah. Ooh, thank you for that. This episode of The Real Room is sponsored by Peace City, Oklahoma. Peace City, Oklahoma is a community-based nonprofit with a mission to build peace and reduce gun violence in Oklahoma City communities. Through their community violence intervention program, Peace City equips trusted members of our neighborhoods with the tools, training, and resources needed to interrupt cycles of violence, helping our friends, our families, and our neighbors make healthier, life-giving decisions. This work isn't about headlines. It's about healing, accountability, and showing up where it matters most. To learn more, get involved, or support the work Peace City is doing in our city, visit Peace City, Oklahoma, OKC.org, and be part of building a safer, stronger community together. So, how would someone that wants to be a part of Peace City sign up? What does that look like? And then what does the training look like?
Um, Depending on if they want to be a participant.
Okay.
So we have where we do interactions,
Okay.
and then we have participants. But all they have to do is call. If we don't encounter them in the community through an unfortunate circumstance,
Mhm.
um, or through via a referral, all they have to do is come to the office.
Okay.
All they have to do is come to the office, call the office, uh, ask about us, look us up. We're on every social site, and that's all you have to do. Just make that first step. We make it very easy.
Okay.
Once you make that first step, it's not real complicated. We pick it up right from there.
Got you. Okay. From your vantage point, what do people misunderstand most about gun violence prevention and the role organizations like Peace City, excuse me, actually play?
I think it's all in the prevention. People really
Mhm.
don't understand that.
Yeah.
And so they don't understand that sometimes prevention is presence.
Hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So let's start there. Number one, just by our presence,
Mhm.
we've already began preventing gun
Mhm.
violence.
Come on.
Okay. We've already prevented it because now you have these cool guys, these respected leaders within the community, and they're saying, put that gun down.
Yeah.
So you have young men that look up to these guys that say, I want to be like that, or I want to be like that.
Mhm.
So, if they not on that kind of time, I don't want to be
Yeah.
on that kind of time. So number one, that's one thing, presence. It's hard to document presence, and it's hard to show presence on
Mm.
quantitative data.
Yeah.
Okay. Intervention is what happens. So prevention is the daily work.
Mhm.
Prevention is the daily presence. Okay. That's the secret to the sauce right
Mhm.
there. Intervention is after the tragedy already
Yeah.
struck. It's showing up to a shooting, it's showing up to a fight, it's showing up basically to the devastation.
Yeah.
And what people really don't understand is that it affects the whole block,
Yeah.
it affects the whole family.
Mhm.
The kids are traumatized. The mama is traumatized. The dad, if he's in the picture, or the uncle, if he's in the picture, he is downright mad.
Mhm.
And intervention is difficult
Mhm.
because it is hard to talk to people when you haven't been through it. And I had to realize that,
Yeah.
when I was even thinking about the death penalty, like, because if you kill one of my kids,
Yeah.
I'm like, Lord, deal with
Yeah.
my heart.
Yeah.
So you have to think about that within the communities.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to touch. You have generations in families,
Mhm.
and you have to be able to touch each one, because even if you get it on this fold and you got mama and you got daddy, little brother
Yeah.
is
Mm.
is mad,
Mm.
little sister is upset. And so that's where the trauma
Mhm.
comes in. Also not feeling safe at home. But then what about if you on public housing, or if
Yeah.
you on Section 8, baby, you out of there.
Yeah.
Well, now what is mama gonna do? What is daddy gonna do? What if they're a family and he's an offender, a violent offender?
Mhm.
A violent offender that's working at a warehouse, making $9.75 entry level pay, $10.75 entry level pay, and they just lost their public housing or they Section 8. It doesn't matter if you're the shooter or getting shot.
Ooh.
You're out of there. So
Wow.
what does this is what I'm saying. So this is where that trauma comes in.
It's like a
Because
ripple effect.
yeah, so how do we help this family?
Yeah.
Okay, you're talking about a funeral.
Mhm.
You're talking about stability. So now these kids, most likely, and the family is shifted in a hotel room temporarily.
Mm.
You're talking about long-term sustainability. You're talking about an angry, stressed out father. You're talking about a broken-hearted mother.
Mhm.
And you're talking about traumatized kids.
Yeah.
That's one family.
Mhm.
And so that is a lot of what is unseen
Yeah.
and what people do not know, so that's why I do everything I can to try to make sure that all the aspects of prevention is there when it comes to
Yes.
community violence.
So we don't even get to
So
that.
we don't get to the intervention,
Mm.
because once we get to the intervention, the tragedy has struck.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of investment and sweat equity
Yeah.
with these families to hold them together and to get them back, just not on a great track here. We're just talking about a stable track. Now we're talking about shelter and stuff. We're talking, everybody that's doing bad ain't lived in a shelter.
Mm-hmm.
No, every mama that you think is ghetto don't want to take her kids to no shelter.
Yeah.
If you ever been in the hood, just because they on public housing, they living good.
Yeah.
They got a clean house. Those
Mm-hmm.
kids are well kept, and the same thing with Section 8. So when you're talking about immediately losing that and losing all of your grounding at the same time, having to get through the tragedy,
The
whether that's the
displacement.
hospital, whether that's the funeral home, and having to go through that whole entire measure without wanting to retaliate,
Yeah.
and without your kids going absolutely crazy, you need support. And that support sometimes, can be around the clock. Like our guys, they work on call.
Mm.
They have a shift, plus they work on call.
Yeah.
And that's because that is the kind of support that is needed. I remember one of our participants, he just is like, I'm going to live in the cemetery. I'm going to live in the cemetery with my brother.
Mm.
And they couldn't get him out that cemetery. Things like that, because have you ever been shot? Do you have a road dog? Do you have a favorite cousin? Do you have a sibling? Do you have a sister? Can you imagine your sister being shot and killed while you right beside her?
Yeah.
And you want to talk about a shelter?
Mm.
You want to talk about a hotel?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Okay, so that is the unseen part of the work.
Yeah,
And that's why it takes the community.
most definitely.
Because you have to have the capacity, and the people that have the capacity is the people where it is their environment. You got to remember, it's our culture.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up in this. If you ain't grow up in this, that's going to take you out.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to see a mama crying out over her son and understanding that anger and that frustration and not being able to touch him.
Mm.
But they pronounce him dead at the scene. But she can't touch him. She can't get that last touch. Me, I want that last touch. I want to make sure he's not breathing. If he's still alive anywhere in there, I want him to know that I'm right here. No, you can't touch him, because immediately that body becomes evidence.
Yeah.
But if you don't have no history within the culture, then you will get angry and kind of impatient with this mother, because everyone responds differently. And so how a Black woman or a Black mother or a Black father may respond may be very different, let's just say, from an Asian mother or Asian father or white. So people from the community, we get it. We seen it before. And we say, oh, she's all right. She's all right. We got it. No. She's all right. She's all right. It's okay. We got it. Why? Because it's not too much for us. Because it's our culture, it's our community.
Yeah.
And we grew up in it. Opposed to someone that is completely detached and think, oh my God, she's having a mental breakdown, call the crisis police.
Yeah.
Which is only going to escalate the situation
Yeah.
and make it even more traumatizing. Not saying you're not going to bring those resources in later. But these are things that no one ever thinks about.
Yeah. And so Peace City helps with those type of resources. Y'all are there.
Yeah, all of those resources, from the mentoring, the guiding, to the holistic groups, to helping you out with whatever kind of problem that you have within the justice system. We have partners, or we can get you to a justice navigator. Therapy, the mothers with therapy. We are connected to some amazing people that can do some amazing things others within our community organizations with the children, if it's private therapy, where people come to you, or you can come to those people
Yeah.
in private, helping those fathers get their homes back stabilized. We identify families even though they're not married, because we understand that in our community, sometimes when you get married, it makes you not have benefits. So if you want to be able to stay on level, then a lot of times the mother has a lower tier job so she can qualify for housing, because the father can only get a certain kind of job because he only has a GED or not, or he is a second chance employer.
Hold on. So talk to that, because I don't
Yeah.
think a lot of people understand how families have to navigate job situations when you don't have education, when you have multiple kids, you're just trying to make it. I heard you say a mother has to get a lower tier job in
Mm-hmm.
order to even
Qualify.
qualify for the resource. Not that
Right.
she would prefer to be
Right.
on the system,
Right.
but that just so she can get the needed resources for
Mm-hmm.
her day to day
Correct.
with her
Correct.
kids, just to survive.
To qualify for daycare expenses, to qualify for housing, your income has to be under a certain level, and that's a low level.
Yeah,
However,
been
you'll
there.
you'll be more stable if you
If you
stay under that metric, because if you just go over it a tinch, it
you
can knock you.
lose,
Yeah,
yeah.
it can completely knock you off. And so what happens is when you get married, they combine it,
Mhm.
so you still don't qualify.
Mhm.
So what are our families doing within the communities? Well,
Mhm.
they don't get married. So
Mhm.
you got the mom, and the mom, she's working, she's a CNA. The kids got daycare. They only have to pay a co-payment. They
Yep.
only paying a partial of the rent. And a partial of the rent ain't no dollar and $2.
Mhm.
That's memes and stuff. That's
Mhm.
fake stuff.
Mhm.
If rent is 1,000, you got a discount of rent, you paying about 400,
Mhm.
500, depends on that income.
Right.
Don't be right at
Right.
the top. Don't you dare make 31 or 33 or 35.
Then you knocked
You
out.
yeah, you're right there. And then now the two incomes can
Mhm.
benefit the home, and they can have somewhat of a normal family structure.
Hmm. These are the things that people have to think about, which is so mind-boggling to me and frustrating in
Hmm.
one of the richest countries, right? So we
Right.
say,
Right.
and we still have homelessness and
Hmm.
dealing with these type of things. It's crazy to
Hmm.
me. Okay, let's switch gears.
Okay.
Let's talk healing. How do you balance intervention with healing, especially when trauma doesn't end when the headlines do?
Patience
Mm,
and consistency.
yeah,
You got to have grace. You've got to have grace. You've got to have patience, and you've got to have consistency.
yeah.
Sometimes some of the families need you to hold their hand, you know, without saying, let me hold your hand.
Mhm.
But you need to hold their hand. You need to check on them. You need to help them in walking the steps out. You need to let them know the things that you're in, the services that you're involving them in, that it is okay. If they're doing a holistic group, you want to make sure that it is safe, and that they know it
Mhm.
is safe. And so again, it keeps coming back to that community, because people are going to trust their community.
Yeah.
So that means, like, if I say, oh yeah, trust me, Lucretia, it's good. Like, it's
Mhm.
a good group, girl.
Mhm.
You'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
You can speak in there, you can be free,
Mhm.
because those are the things that really provide the healing.
Mhm.
There's a lady in our community, I think her name is Shay Peace, and she does these
My
groups.
cousin.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay. She's the bomb. She's the
Yeah, she
bomb.com.
is.
And sometimes, like, I feel like sometimes with mothers in
Mhm.
our community, I feel like you need mothers like that,
Mhm.
because you need a safe space. Why? Because our culture mother's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our culture mother's different.
Mhm.
And so those are the type of things that help these families through the healing
Yeah.
and through the trauma, while also helping them to improve their life. you
Yeah.
know, improve the economical instability in their life. Everything, and that could look like employment, helping them with a job. That can look like streamlining into Metro Tech, like I said. That can look
Yeah.
like getting them that referral over there with Dr. Palmer at Eternal Springs
Mhm.
Behavioral Health,
Mhm.
or up there at Naturel with Shakira, or having to call and say, Shay, I got a mama and I
Mhm.
need you to talk to,
Mhm.
you know, where they'll come. And one thing that I learned about community is that community is passionate about helping community.
Mhm.
And so sometimes you can literally call and they're like, we're on the way.
Mhm.
And they're coming to provide these services for this family. It's not a quick fix.
Yeah.
It's a process. So that's why I started out saying patience and consistency. If your organization is driven by numbers, you're going to struggle with
Huh.
that,
Yeah.
because your completion rates are going to come, your success rates are going to come slower because of the process.
Yeah.
But this is how we change the trajectory of our community. This is how we begin to have systematic change.
Yeah. Little steps, one
Mhm.
step at a time, y'all.
Mhm.
What does a healthy ecosystem of care really require for those traumatized by gun violence beyond the emergency response? And I feel like you've talked on it, but
Mhm.
is there anything that else that we need to speak on when it comes to that?
These families need support. It's like
Mhm.
everybody sometimes want to offer everything except the fiscal part,
Mhm.
the economical part.
Mm,
When economical instability is really the root cause of it
yeah,
all.
all. So that sounds like that's what's lacking
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
It sounds like you got everything else, but
Right.
that piece is
Yeah,
lacking.
you're not allowed, it's just certain things that you're not allowed to do sometimes as organizations
Mhm.
with family. And a lot of times, even in trauma, even in emergencies, these families, the economic instability.
Mhm.
And economic instability forces people to do things or to act ways that they would never do,
Mm.
just for stability, for their families, for their children. But that's the one thing that we want to skip over, because a lot of times we can offer every single thing, every resource, but we cannot help you get an apartment.
Mhm.
I'm
The
sorry.
finance.
We cannot help. It's just certain things that we, as organizations, are not able to help with. And that's just one of the major causes. And that
Mm.
is it. I mean, it's a long-term help.
Mhm.
When you streamline into these employment services and you streamline into the educational services, it's a long term type of a thing. But in order to begin to break the barriers of economic instability in our community, which will also definitely reduce violence on all spectrums, it's we have to help that part out.
Let's go there. And I haven't gone there
Hmm.
on this podcast, but let's go there.
Hmm.
The financial instability within our communities.
Hmm. Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go there.
We're
Let's
gonna go
go
there real
there.
quick, okay?
Yeah, let's go there.
We have a lot of things that happen within our community because I feel
Yes,
like people are just trying to survive.
correct.
And if we had financial stability,
Mhm.
if we had the necessary resources,
Yes.
we talk about the food desert we didn't had on the east side for
Right.
forever
Right.
right now.
Right.
We talk about, and yes, there's been things plopped in,
Right.
but let's talk about the how much those things cost, right?
Exactly.
When we talk about these things, speak on, do you think it's intentional?
I will say this right here. Economic instability within a community causes people to operate out of desperation. And let's start there.
Mhm.
It also makes that community vulnerable to being controlled. Okay. And so you have to realize that people do benefit off of economic instability. The same way that the community is at risk because of the economic instability. There are people that benefit off of our community's economic instability, and they also use it as a driver to control our community, because our people, due to the economic instability, oftentimes operate out of desperation.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I could elaborate, but we're not.
Yes.
I think we said enough.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So Peace City operates within a highly political kind of
Oh,
ecosystem,
yes.
funding, policy, public perception. How has navigating that space shaped you as a leader?
Um, Number one, I would say, I don't like, I'll start out saying that I wish that our community was more involved as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened is when people are traumatized by being unseen, unheard, unwelcome, uninvited, then it makes them feel like I have nothing to contribute here. And so what happens is there is a political control that is taking place because the community is not involved. The community, again, is not having a say-so into what's taking place into the community. So I would say, and also with that, you have to be careful, because from the lack of being involved, right now, you'll go to several trainings where they would teach you that the narrative is what's important. The narrative is the driver. It's what you can make people believe. It's what it's all about, what you can make people believe. We live in the time of the internet, right? So then what happens is you have a community that is suffering. And then you have a political environment that is staging things to look as though it is not.
Yeah.
To look as though this help is coming, and it's really not. Because of this driver, and what we're teaching to all of our leaders and our upcoming leaders is not to stand with integrity. It's not to operate properly legislatively. It's not to respect leadership. No, it's what can you make people believe? And that right there is one of the most negatively impacted trends that I see going on within the community that is completely unaddressed. Because if you have a good narrative and you have a great camera or PR, and if you have enough followers, you barely have to help that community. And you can benefit right off of its back. You can go and visit that community 4 times a month, show it on the internet, put a nice narrative behind it, have some amazing PR, take a picture with a couple of politicians, and boom, there you have it. You see what I'm saying? Opposed to actually doing the work, actually serving your community, actually helping your community, actually doing it.
Yeah.
And so that is something that I feel like we need to, as a community, we need to begin to change.
Yeah.
It shouldn't all be based off of what you can show. Because one thing I can tell you about Peace City, oftentimes it's so much of the work that we do that's unseen. Because for one, you got to respect people's privacy. And you have to understand this, although you can benefit off of people's trauma, it doesn't mean that you always need to. And it's their story to tell.
Yeah.
When they're ready and how they're ready.
Yeah.
It's never your story. And if someone wants you to broadcast you got to think about it. I didn't like when I had to go stand in line for Toys for Tots.
Right.
Or when I had to go to the food pantry.
When I was sitting in that that
yeah.
DHS lobby,
Yeah.
I would call my mama every time crying.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't want to show that.
It's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
And that is sad.
Yeah.
It's some people that want to say, oh, this is a part of my journey, and it's some that's not. It's some that feels really, really bad about it. So it gets to a point to where, and it's sad, because sometimes you have to agree to this.
Yeah.
If you want someone to come in and help your child, or if the school is bringing somebody in to work with your child, and they come with every news station, or they come with this big fancy cameraman, and I mean, it's good help, but
So
then that's
true.
the only way you're going to get it.
That's crazy.
That's the only way you're going to get it. You know, that is something right there that we need to find a balance to. Because if we bring a balance to that, then it will put a charge and hold people accountable to have to actually do the work and not be able to now of this new trending of looking like I'm doing the work, looking like I'm a community leader, looking like I'm being effective and helping to shape policy. No, we need to teach our community and our upcoming young people of how to get out there, how to actually do the work, how to be impactful into your community. It's more than your followers. It's more than the pictures that you put on the internet. It's more than just taking pictures with politicians at all of the local events. And don't get me wrong, that's cute, that's great, I respect it, but it takes more than that. But when that's what we're teaching them is what it takes, and that's the qualifying measure, then we have to realize that we're actually doing the opposite of what we're supposed to be doing. We're not meeting the mark. We're not meeting the goal.
Yeah.
And then we got to be careful because we could be accidentally stepping on the ones that is doing the work.
Mic drop. I don't need to say nothing else after that.
Right.
Okay. Next question. As a woman leading in this space, often male dominated and politically charged, as we mentioned, what challenges have you faced that people may not see or name?
You know, it comes with a whole lot of, you know, I would say especially from men. Okay. It comes with a whole lot of stereotypes, just at the beginning of it. You know, you have to understand a lot of times your experience and your education has already been wavered out.
Right.
Okay. You're a leader, you know, you're a woman, you know, forget the degrees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't
Forget
even
all the
matter.
years of
Yeah.
the experience. You're there because you have a pretty face. You're there because you have screwed your way to the top. You know, you're there because you are Black. They will give it every reason that you're there besides the hard work that you put in to get there. Yes, that's a real thing across the board, across the nation, that women that we have to deal with. Oftentimes, being disregarded, being blindsided, being stepped over, being underestimated while being the backbone all at the same time. While being the safety net all at the same time.
But while being the savior.
Yeah, while being the glue.
Yeah.
All
At the same time.
These are things that you have to deal with as a woman in leadership, as well as being controlled.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a woman, people really don't like for you to stay in your ground. You know, they want you to stay in your lane, stay in your place. You know, I can't tell you just even at Peace City how many times I've been referred to as, oh, that little lady. Oh, that little cute lady. Oh, she's cute. Oh, that little lady can't, you know, it doesn't matter with them not even knowing the cost of my oil. Not even thinking to even ask what is my experience.
Yeah.
I've been working in a male-dominated field all of my life, and I have nothing but receipts to prove it. But I on purpose don't show them. But for the sake of the real room, one time and one time only, I gave it all to you. And if you want to know about me, they can come to the real room.
And period.
Yeah, because it's not something that I operate off of. I don't broadcast it. I don't talk about my successes or anything, because God already knows them, and He's the one that gives me all of my elevation. He gives me every single assignment, and I realized after I did all of that, that that it was Him. So all of that is completely unnecessary, because I know that there's not nobody that ain't supposed to open a door for me that He didn't ordain. That is going to open the door regardless. So I never feel the need to give in depth of what I've been through, what I've had,
Yeah.
the leader capacities that I've worked in, what I've affected in these different types of things to try to prove myself, just like I don't feel like it's necessary to say where I'm from or I grew up off a lot of I've been through this and I
Right.
was this and this to qualify neither.
Yeah.
So, so yeah,
Moving on.
moving on. Yeah. moving on. Moving on.
When you think about the future of Peace City and similar organizations, what resources are most urgently needed? I know we talked about financial, but is there any relational, structural, or cultural things that are needed?
Yes.
Okay. Speak on that for me.
We as a people in our community, we need to let the crabology go.
Come on,
We
speak
have
on it.
got to stop acting out of desperation.
Mhm.
You have your currency. Your currency cannot be clout
Mm-mm.
in our community when we're trying to shift the trajectory in the systems in our community. I need you to up your standard. I need you to up what your currency is as to what you require. I need you to make decisions that are not made out of desperation. I don't need you to agree to things for a platform. I don't need you to compromise for the look of success. I would ask everybody that whoever your source may be, mine is God.
Come on.
If yours is Allah, then it'd be that. If yours is a universe, then it'd be that. Whatever it is that you're sourcing, I need you to pull from that. And get this thing when it comes to our community, this crabology of not being able to come together and collaborate and support one another because everybody wants to be the it person.
Right.
Everybody wants to be the look of success. But the representation of the community is the entire community within itself.
Come on.
Because we are diverse. We are diverse. You have to understand, we may have predominantly Black people, on the east side, but it's really about poverty. It's really about the economic stability that drives our cultural, residents over there on the east side. But I would ask that everyone would raise their standards, stand for something. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything.
Yep.
Let's not, for 2026, let's not do this.
Yeah.
Let's begin to raise the bar. Let's begin to hold one another accountable. Let's begin to find our community members to be able to work alongside them and not only want to help them because that's what feeds our ego.
Yeah.
Let's begin to pull on different sources for power besides money.
Yeah.
Let's begin to pull on different sources for power besides validation. This internet has went too far when it comes to community social services.
Yeah. Let me say this because you saying that reminds me of a few things, but one, the word, God's word. And it talks about in there how we all have there's certain parts of the body, right?
Right.
And in order for the body to function the way that it needs to function,
Exactly.
Let's say you the arm, you got to do what the arm supposed to do.
Exactly.
If I'm the leg, I got to do what the leg's supposed to do.
You got it.
Right? I say all of that to say, we all have certain gifts, talents, a uniqueness. God has wonderfully made you to be you.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And so trying to be what you're not, right, will not allow the body of Christ or just society or your ecosystem or whatever you want to call it to operate the way that it needs to.
Exactly.
And so when we talk about the crab barrel mentality, right, that goes back from generations, right?
Right.
But we have to do better at coming together as a people and operating in our gifts and our talents that we have been given in
Mm-hmm.
order for us to thrive and function. And I'm talking specifically to what I know
Yes.
because I'm a Black person.
Yes.
We have to do better. We
Yes.
have to collaborate. We have to come together. Your name ain't
Mm-hmm.
got to be the thing that's on
Right,
the
right,
billboard, okay?
right,
It does not
right,
have to be, okay?
right.
Imagine us all coming together and
Mm-hmm.
working like you said.
Yes.
How much better as a community we could be. I think about Tulsa,
Mm-hmm.
the Black
The Black, yes,
yes,
Black
I can't
Wall
even why
Street
Black Wall Street. I couldn't even get it out.
rally. Shout
Yeah.
out to my Uncle Byron.
Yes.
He is one of the guys that helped founded that
Come on.
and put that on every year. And this is what I will say too about this
Yeah.
with that crabology. Okay, we need to understand that as a culture, we deserve to have nice things too.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I have noticed in our community, you can hardly drive a nice car.
Hmm.
You can only make so much money before somebody's mad.
Mm-hmm. Why? That drives me crazy.
Like
Listen.
you can, I'm telling you, don't you dare be successful, because then all of a sudden your success came from the white man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is hating.
Yeah.
That is propaganda. And that is damaging to our culture.
Yeah.
You work hard. Let me tell you something. Everybody works to get paid. If they go and they actually seek out a job with a salary, that is the point. No matter what the job is. So let's be clear. That's for our culture too.
Yeah.
Okay, our culture, we buy homes, we pay bills. Our culture, we don't just like hoopties, even though some of us had, some of us haven't. We deserve to have nice cars without an explanation. Okay, we deserve to be able to do things and live in a manner without having to explain ourselves, because we are Black and because we are from the East Side, because it is deemed, you can't have that. And if you do have that, then you have it illegitimately. Yeah. We have got to learn to come alongside each other.
Most definitely.
We have to find each other worthy first. As a community.
Yeah.
We have to believe that we are worth nice things, that we are worth a nice salary, that we are worth it.
Yeah.
We have to believe it first, and we've got to stop charging each other up.
Man.
Every time that someone it's the saddest thing. All of our kids are not alternative. We want our kids to be doctors, engineers, lawyers, all of the things. We want our kids to play golf as well as football, as well as basketball. We want our children to be politicians and different things of the such as well. But we have to believe it first.
Yeah. Most definitely.
We've got to stop charging each other up just for having regular, I'm talking regular, nice things.
Yeah.
That I'm saying I'm deeming as nice, but you have to understand in different sectors it is completely normal.
Yeah.
And not questioned.
That part. What I was saying about Black Wall Street, I think about how they were able to come together, right? And build something that was incredible.
Incredible.
And so I'm just saying, imagine.
Imagine.
Right? Imagine.
And what's the number one strategy in war, or when you want to destroy something, or when you want to take it down, is to divide and conquer. It is to divide and then conquer. Because as a community, we are only as strong as our weakest link.
Yeah.
So we've got to come together. And like you said, we all have different gifts. We all have different strengths. Learn how to operate in your niche, in your lane, in your strength, and work with someone else that has a different lane and a different strength. My grandma used to say, somebody doing everything ain't doing nothing at all.
Come on. Yes.
Somebody doing everything
Ain't
ain't
doing
doing
nothing
nothing
at
at
all.
all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so therefore that's why you got to collaborate.
Mhm.
And if we all collaborate and we all become on one accord, we all support each other, we show up in numbers, are accepting to the unheard and the unseen, and we lock arms together and everybody has their strengths, we're unstoppable.
Most definitely.
We're unstoppable.
Most definitely. I'm wrapping up.
Okay.
Looking back, what has this journey taught you about purpose, resilience, and leadership?
I would say that along this journey, coming back home and working, for this past 2 years, that it enhanced my relationship
Mhm.
with God.
Hmm.
You've gotta I learned that I have to have that within.
Mm.
And that has to be the deciding factor and the moving factor.
Yeah.
You have to be rooted and grounded in something.
Yeah.
Because if you're not rooted and grounded in anything, then anybody can dangle anything in your face.
Yeah.
Um, your discernment, and knowing, how to move and what to do. And, when you're rooted and grounded in things are not able to shift you like how they would if you wasn't rooted and grounded.
Right.
And so that is one thing along this journey that I have done that I saw my mom do.
Mm.
And it was like no matter what was going on, she stayed rooted and grounded in Christ. My mom would pray, 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 pray. I mean, the whole neighborhood knew my mom. She prayed so loud, and she would be in a closet, and we would be in the backyard, and it's like, why can't we still hear you? But prayer,
Yeah.
building that relationship to keep you, because that's also going to provide you yourself and your own being with accountability.
Yeah.
It'll keep you out of the different false power.
Mhm.
It'll keep you from chasing false power because you will know where the power truly comes from.
Yeah.
It'll keep you from chasing things that don't end in that doesn't end well.
Mhm.
That doesn't end well for you, and that doesn't end well for who you're serving. Because when you do things for other people, for yourself, so it means you want to help somebody because of how it makes you look. When your motive and your heart is not right,
Yeah.
that never works out right.
Right.
It never works out right. So I've learned to stay rooted and grounded in my relationship with Christ, and let that come from within, along with my leadership and operational training, not bending. And see, that'll keep you.
Yeah.
That'll keep you from breaking rules for people.
Hmm.
That'll keep you from doing corrupt things for people. That'll keep you from doing corrupt things to fit into a clique.
Mm-hmm.
It'll keep you from doing corrupt things for a seat at the table.
Mm.
Because I keep saying, when you know who your source is,
Hmm.
then you will not act out of disparity,
Come on.
because you already know what's going to happen in the end. So you don't have to compromise your assignment. You can stay on assignment and you can stay on task, knowing where we're ending, knowing where we're going. And that's where I found my solace. That's where I found my strength, is in my source. And so when it's no, it's a firm no.
Yeah.
You can't go everywhere. You can't be in every crowd. You can't have every conversation.
Yeah.
You can't be in every picture. I know they say, visibility and all that, and it is important. But you have to understand, with leadership, it also comes another structure that comes with that.
Yeah.
You're responsible
Another
for
responsibility.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, your capacity. So you do have to be, careful with that. And when you have that source, when you have a source, something to pull from, then that will help you kind of balance it out, and that'll keep you steady, for the longer journey, and it'll also keep you out of a lot of mess.
Yeah. Yeah. When people hear the name Peace City, what do you hope it represents? Not just now, but years from now.
Years from now, I want people to start sentences like this. It all started
Mm.
with this organization called Peace City up on the hill off of 23rd. It all started there. I don't know. And then just from there, the authenticity to be who you are and to be from the community, the authenticity, the acceptance, the resources, the love, the support, more than services. I want people to say, when they say, back in the day, Ward 7 was this way and this was going on. And then we seen a shift begin to take place. Around 2024, 2025. And I want somebody to answer the question on the panel and say, well, it had all started with this organization called Peace City.
Yeah.
That this organization employed predominantly all African American men. And I'm not going to even take you into that African American men and how they are the ones that can shift the trajectory of our community. The very ones that are disqualified, smothered, and their voices are not heard, and they don't have a seat at the table. Yeah, it's them. It's them that's gonna do it. And so I want them to say, it started there. I remember I was a kid, and I remember I would drive past this organization, and it was just a whole lot of Black men outside. So I went one day, or whatever, because I truly do believe that as we go forward in serving our community and serving our men, that we are going to grow, and that it is going to shift the system, and it is going to shift the trajectory of Ward 7. I'm teaching everything that I got, everything I got from college, everything I got from every training, everything I got from every mentor, everything that I ever learned in church, outside of church, every connection, every politician that I got to reach to, every judge that I got to reach to, I'm connecting them.
Yeah.
So that they can get the training to be able to go out and to be able to be effective in these rooms and at these tables. Authenticity from our community is on the way.
Yeah. Well, listen. Another mic drop.
Miss
We
Marilyn, I feel like Miss Jackson, our board, all of my staff, I be trying, because I can't do nothing but be real. And this is the real room. So I feel like it's a place for a truth teller. And that's exactly what I am. I tell people I'm not a politician. I have no desire to be one. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a pastor. I'm a mother. I'm a servant. I am a woman that is set by and on assignment for God, driven by God, given assignments from God, and that is the source that I operate from. And so I ain't worried about nobody thinking they can cancel me, or thinking they made me, or thinking they can destroy me, because they didn't create me. Everywhere I'm at, they had nothing to do with it. And it's all by God. And if you are more powerful than God,
which you ain't.
Yeah, where have you been? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So, really, really glad to be here. Really, really glad to speak on behalf of our organization, on our community. Really, really glad to speak on behalf of all of the amazing leaders that we have in our community. It is so many great programs. It's so many great leaders. And although we talked about a lot of the things right now that is hurting our community, there are people that have been there, blood, sweat, and tears, working within our community, but we need more. And we need to come together.
Give me a few community organizations right now. Shout a few people out and leaders real quick for us.
I would say For one, I would say, starting out, I would say, the Urban Bridge,
Yeah.
Marcus Jackson, that's
Yes.
my brother, but also a
Yes.
great program, in Naturel, of course, with, Shakira. I really, really love OIC, longstanding,
Okay.
program. I really like that program because they're very flexible. I would say we have Northeast OKC
Mhm.
Renaissance, okay? Home ownership, you deserve it too.
Yeah.
I would say, It's My Community, Kamal Pennington. I believe he just launched
Yes.
a youth program.
Yes.
I would say Star Foundation. Also, they're serving the youth and they're serving the community. Of course, I would say Diversion Hub. Um, I'm thinking of places, Workforth, Eternal Health, Behavior
Mhm.
Springs. You guys get out there and get that therapy and get the things that you need. Trying to think of, is there any other immediate ones? Because Alpha Foundation,
Mhm. Mhm.
again, another source
Mhm.
for our young men. I mean, I think within our community, there may be somewhere between 35 and
Mhm.
44 programs that are just for the youth alone. Our women that want to get into that political space, get your tail over there to Sally's List, and let Sally's List
Yes.
go ahead and prepare you, and train you so that you can go and have a seat at the
I
table,
love that.
and get into these leadership
Mhm.
organizations that we have on our east side. You have the Black Chamber of Commerce now,
Mhm.
that is offering triple the resources of what they used to
Mhm.
in the past. You have Restore Oklahoma,
Yeah.
that is helping also, with
Homeowners.
these
Mhm.
homeowners, houses, repairing and
Mhm.
refurbishing. Um, and refurbishing of these homes.
Mhm.
You have Raising the Standard Transitional Homes, which is my mom's program
Okay.
that has been in a program for over 20 years. That is for violent offenders, women only, but violent offenders. If you can't get into the regular programs because of your offense as a violent offender, that is an option. And when she has a 30-day jumpstart program, a 90-day
Mm.
jumpstart program, and I mean, it's many more. It's many more organizations. Pivot, where CIC
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
located. You got the YWCA over there that helps you to begin to teach them agriculture.
Yeah.
It is just a lot of
Resources.
resources. Go ahead and look them up. A lot of these places, some of them you can find on city sites, state sites, but a lot of it you can just simply Google. So we have a whole lot within our community and just some amazing organizations that are out here. But you got to go beyond social media.
Yeah. Most
You
definitely.
have got to
Most
go beyond
definitely.
Social media. I would probably direct you to Google,
Yeah.
or go to an organization within the community.
And they
And a
can
lot of
direct you.
times, yeah, they have listings depending on what services that you need. Also, the YWCA with women
Yeah.
in domestic violence
Yeah.
and having somewhere to live, and with the support measures that are in place to help them to navigate these abusive relationships. These services are not just only for Black people. It doesn't matter if you Black, white,
Purple.
Hispanic, Asian, or polka dot, as my board president would say.
Mhm.
It is available to you. And for these services, also, you don't have to directly live in the zip code.
Mhm.
Just because the organization is in the zip code, it doesn't mean that it's not going to serve you
That's good
if
to
you're
know.
in a different
Yeah.
zip code. So, get out there, and these organizations, there are some really good people that are there to
Yeah.
support you.
Listen, you gave us a lot this
I know I
episode, and
did.
I can't say it enough. I'm so grateful that I had you on,
Thank
and that you
you.
wanted to be here. I thank you for the work that you're doing. I thank you for Peace City, OKC, or Oklahoma, excuse me, Urban
Mm-hmm.
Bridge, Northeast Renaissance, all of these amazing
Yes.
organizations doing some great things. And I want to just say this. I'm going to let you close us out, which I've only done this with one other person. but I just feel like you're gonna close us out with something good. But first, I want to say, so get it together.
Okay.
First, I want to say this. I know you loved what you listened to. I know you loved
Mhm,
what you watch. And if so, please like, follow, subscribe, and please leave us a feedback. Leave us a
mhm.
review. We need to hear from you because you are definitely needed. Lynn, I'm turning the mic over to you to close us out.
I would say I would want to leave this interview with something that my mentor told me. And for one, failure is normal. Get back up.
Mhm.
Your disqualifications is most likely what's going to qualify you. Um, Authenticity. Be yourself. If everyone would operate from an authentic space, we will begin to shut down that code switching.
Mhm.
If we all just started being,
Mhm.
invest in yourself. Invest in yourself, believe in yourself, know that you are enough, you belong, and you are impactful enough to make a difference. We need you.
Until the next time, see you in the real room.